Welcome back. Right now we are heading to a subsection of Bedford-Stuyvesant called Stuyvesant Heights. This exceptional home at 271 Stuyvesant Avenue could be considered one of the crown jewels of the neighborhood. Every single floor of this four-story home is a testament to the rich architecture of its era. Inside you'll find carefully preserved original details throughout. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Brenda. Welcome to Bedford-Stuyvesant, one of the most architecturally interesting neighborhoods in New York City. I've lived in this historic limestone surrounded by beauty for the last 15 years, and I can't wait to show it to you. One of the first things I noticed when we came to look at this house was the beautiful patina on the doorknobs. And then I looked up and saw the face of this beautiful woman, and I knew that she would watch over us if we lived here. From the outside, I knew the house was special, but when I walked in, wow. I was immediately swept up in the grand entranceway, the stately pier mirrors and the rich blonde oak, and then my eyes were drawn down to the smallest exquisite detail. I call myself a digital folk artist, and some call me a digital hoarder, and the soul of that is anticipating things that will disappear and preserving them for the future. So the next detail I saw was this cherry wood call box that was used back in the day for the people all the way up on the 4th floor to communicate with the people on the bottom. This is, of course, pre-iPhone. Because this house was built in the 1880s, people obviously lived quite differently. It was all about entertaining guests. Off the hallway, the first thing you see is the parlor, and this is where the guests were received. You can imagine the ladies here in the early 1900s gathered around the sofa or the settee, having their tea and waving their fans. And to add to this room's grandeur, there are gilded plaster rosettes and original stained glass windows. But my favorite feature is this pier mirror, because it practically tells its own history through the oxidized silver on its face. Through the parlor, we enter the foyer, which we use as a gallery. The foyer is the focal point of what they call the parlor floor, and it is rich with detail. A perfect example of this detail is the hand-carved golden oak roses, which have been inset into the architect's interpretation of the classic Corinthian column. Each facet of this house is a work of art in its own right. In 1,000 years, people will look at this house the way we now look at the Great Pyramids. They'll think, how did they build it to withstand the test of time? It's likely that by then, these skills will have been lost. The master bedroom. For me, the greatest privilege of living in this house is waking up every day surrounded by this beauty. The first thing I see when I wake up in the morning is a bay of large windows that flood the room with light. Then I look across the room to one of 10 stately fireplaces. This one is oak and adorned with beveled glass and black wrought iron. In many ways, the artistry of this house has fueled my own creative longevity. We tend to open things up more for modern living. However, one of the defining characteristics of the brownstone is the master bedroom and its adjoining sitting room. In the early 1900s, the master of the house and his wife would each pass through a set of vanity sinks from their own bedroom into their own private sitting area. The sitting room, of course, is for sitting, but we use it as a family room, and I've filled it with photos of my son and the great memories we've had in this house. I really consider having been part of this building's history more in the role of stewardship than ownership, and I hope that the next people who pass through feel the same way. Thank you so much for allowing me to share it with you.